Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video is a replay that I had in the Tier 7 German battleship, the Gneisenau. I'm divisioned up with my buddy Fatal Donuts, and he's in his Tier 7 Premium German battleship, the Scharnhorst, and we're playing some domination here on the map New Dawn. So this is going to be the last video that I will be doing for quite some time due to work-related stuff. I will not be able to be back in town until around Thanksgiving, so it's going to be about a 2-month hiatus for me. So in the meantime, Spider and Puddin will be taking care of the channel, and they will certainly be presenting you guys some good content. But for me, I'm going to have to put this game on a little bit of a hold, so pardon me, but hey, it's life, you got to deal with it. So, the Gneisenau. I unlocked the ship about a week and a half ago, and to be honest with you, I'm slightly disappointed. Now, this ship on paper is really powerful. It has the German turtleback armor, it has fantastic AA. The reason why it has the really good AA is because it has fantastic secondaries that work as dual purpose. And they're very long range AA too. They stretch out to about 6 kilometers with the build that I have and do well over 100 DPS. And they just swat planes out of the sky like you wouldn't believe. I've already had plenty of games, 3 or 4 to be exact, on this ship, where I've shot down well over 20 aircraft. And it's really good. You also have very good maneuverability, a 32 knot top speed. You get torpedoes, you get 2 triple launchers, 1 on each side of the ship. Everything is just really good on paper with this thing, but the one characteristic that defines this ship so much are the guns. You only get 6 of them, as you can see, 2 in the front, 1 in the rear, with 2 guns apiece. They're the same guns you get on the Tirpitz and the Bismarck, except obviously those ships get 8 guns instead of 6. And the reason why it's such an issue with the Gneisenau is because the dispersion on this ship is the worst amongst the German battleship line, and quite frankly, I feel that it's the worst in the game. Anyone that's driven a Miyogi, which I'm sure most of you watching this video have, will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the dispersion on that last salvo that I just had on the, the Scharnhorst there. Yeah, just absolutely terrible, not just vertically, but also horizontally. These shells just have a mind of their own. And although battleships in general have the worst when it comes to RNG, this one right here is just so bad, and you just really have to close the distance, but not to medium range. You really got to get to short range with this. And well, of course, right there, as I shoot long range at the Congo, I actually have really good dispersion, but he went invisible just as I shot, and I only hit 1 shell, presumably in his superstructure. You really have to close the distance to very short ranges in this ship, and kind of like destroyer ranges, honestly. 10 kilometers and under in this thing, and you're going to be in business. Long-range combat with this ship, you can do it. You will get the lucky citadel every now and then, and that's really what this thing relies on when it's shooting its guns at anything, really. It relies on citadels to do a significant amount of damage. Get a nice solid salvo there on the Gneisenau, just over 6,000 points. I did manage to hit 3 out of the 6 shells, but, you know, that kind of RNG doesn't come around very often in this thing, and it's just been frustrating for me to use. I've only been able to manage about 3,000 average damage more on this thing than I did with the Tier 6 Bayern, and as we all know, the Bayern does not get torpedoes. A lot of my damage that I've done in this thing has come via the torpedoes, and you will see a nice example of that here later in this replay. So far, our team has captured Objective Alpha and Objective Bravo, and we're also capturing Objective Charlie as well, which is where I'm heading to. And I'm just looking for a good shot here on the enemy Miyoko. Hopefully he's not paying attention. The guns are reloaded. I get my full broadside out, and unfortunately for me, he does notice it at the last second, and he starts to turn away, and it doesn't appear that I'm going to be able to hit anything. No, I do not. Yeah, it's just, I've never seen dispersion on a battleship influence and impact the way this thing performs in such a way until I've got to this ship, and it's just amazing. And, you know, I use the North Carolina. It's my most played ship. I know how poor the accuracy is on that. I used to play the Colorado before it got buffed. I know how bad the accuracy was on that, but this ship just takes it to a whole new level. 2,300 damage done there on the New Mexico with the full broadside. And he's turning away. He has been lit on fire, and it appears that he's already burned his damage con, so he's going to definitely be getting out of there. Now I'm looking for a shot here on the enemy Miyoko. Look back at the New Mexico. And I made up my decision, my mind. I'm going for the Miyoko here. The guns are reloaded, and I'm holding my fire. Now, like I said, about 10 kilometers and under, that's when the Gneisenau becomes really scary. Because if you go with a secondary build, while your guns do not reach out to 10 kilometers, My buddy Puddin told me, I think it's 7 or 8 kilometers is the maximum distance for your secondaries, which is actually really good for Tier 7. Certainly more than the Nagato and the Colorado. And then, obviously, with the torpedoes, this thing becomes a lot more deadly the closer that it gets to whatever adversary. However, destroyers can have an easier time coming up against this thing. Yes, you do have to worry about the torpedoes, but if you are able to approach it from the stern or surprise it from the rear area, with it only having one turret in the back with 2 guns, it's very, very difficult to deal with DDs that are trying to bum rush you from behind. Get my full salvo out on the Miyoko. He took a crap load of damage, and I managed to get a Citadel and 1 overpen for the first ship destroyed in the game for myself. Just over 13,000 points of damage done. I've shot in plenty of salvos at distances of up to 12 kilometers and well more than so, and I just really haven't done much damage. And, you know, of course, the game throws you a Citadel when the ship only has 2,000 health left like that Miyoko did. Get my rear gun shooting at the New Mexico. And at this point, if you look at the minimap, you can see the enemy team has swiftly moved into Objective Alpha. They have taken it. The friendly destroyer that was up there died. And now the bulk of their team is on the 4 line heading to the south. So I told my buddy Donuts, hey man, I'm going to swing back around and I'm going to go get stuck in B, utilize this ship's strengths, and just see what I can do. And this is kind of where the replay takes a turn for the good for me. You're going to see more or less how to play this thing. If you're presented with these kind of circumstances. And on maps where there's a lot of cover, there's a lot of narrows, there's a lot of islands to utilize, this is where this ship certainly excels. While on more open maps, like, say, Islands of Ice or Ocean, this ship does not do very well on, just because the concealment is decent. It certainly isn't Japanese, but just, again, when you're getting in long-range fights with battleships, it's just not the way to play this thing. And obviously, there's a lot of people, it doesn't matter what ship that they're in, battleship-wise, they prefer to stay at range. But you certainly do want to try and close the distance with this thing. So I just decided to myself, you know what? I'm tired of shooting at range. I'm not going to do much. If I do, I'm going to move in and brawl around. So the score's right now 429 to 411. We're still in control of B and C. However, the enemy team is certainly going to be moving in on B at any second now. We've lost 3 ships to the enemy's 1, and unfortunately for us, we've lost both of our friendly destroyers already, while the enemy team still has both of theirs. So this is definitely going to be an interesting engagement coming up. There's a Gneisenau, Cleveland, Scharnhorst. There's a Congo, a Miyoko coming over towards Objective Bravo, and indeed there is an enemy destroyer, the Mitsuki, that is on Objective Bravo, and he's capping it. And our whole team pretty much has been herded down here into the southeastern corner of the map relative to what you're looking at right now. Now, I do get a nice salvo out here on the Congo, and this is one of the few instances where you actually get good dispersion at range. Shells falling in, very good damage there. I don't even know how I managed that. Just over 11,000 damage done on 3 hits. I must have come in and hit a very weak part of the deck or something. Looking for a shot now here on the glutton of enemy ships that are over there on the to my port side. Looking for a shot here on the Scharnhorst. Shot's out. He's at 12 kilometers away. And look at that dispersion. That, gosh, that is so bad. Yes, I do manage a couple hits for 2,300, but you just see there. It's not just vertical. It's horizontal, too. It's like you draw a giant box around the enemy ship almost every time you pull the trigger on this thing, and your shells will land somewhere within that giant box. And it's rough. It really is rough. Looking for a shot on the Miyoko. He's slowing down quite a bit. I get my shots out, and I continue to turn to starboard to try an angle against the Scharnhorst shells that are presumably coming in, and they do. And I am able to only eat 2,500 points of damage, and I do not hit the enemy Miyoko in return. That was pretty much coming to a stop. Again, bad. And I'm beating a dead horse here with it, but really, it is that annoying. Enemy Gneisenau is also moving into Objective Bravo, and he's not going to have a lot more. He's not going to have a lot more hit points real soon here. Taking some more shells here, just tanking damage, not taking too much here. 1,000 here, 3,000 there, not so bad. I get my full broadside on him. The dispersion actually looks pretty good here, 10.7 kilometers away. There we go, just under 10,000 points of damage. And like I said earlier, about 10 kilometers and under, these is when the guns, the RNG, you're starting to take it out of the equation a lot more so than you might think. And all of a sudden, that Gneisenau has just over 5,000 hit points left. Fortunately for my buddy Donuts, that's right up there, and enemy Gneisenau comes right around the corner, just in front of him, only a couple kilometers away. He's certainly going to be dropping his torpedoes. Fortunately for my buddy Donuts, he's able to turn in a little bit to the left. I shoot my full broadside of the Gneisenau, do just over 2,000 damage off of 2 shell hits. And you see there, he's under 7 kilometers, and I only managed 2 hits out of 6. Yeesh, yeah, that's not very good, is it? I certainly felt if I was in a New Mexico or Fuso, I would have been doing a lot more. My buddy Donuts is getting more shots in on the Gneisenau. He decides to pop his smoke. Looking for shots, decided to give up. Now I'm looking for a shot on the enemy Gneisenau, who's sailing away. He did not get killed, and he's slowly getting his health back. More shots flying in on the target. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Not very good. Very good dispersion. Do not do very good damage. Only 1,000. Just over 1,000. He's getting hit with more high explosive, though, from donuts, and it looks like he's going to burn to death. Now I'm looking for a shot here on the Nevny, and then an enemy York comes in. The Shores ended up getting the kill on the Gneisenau. Looking for the shot, 6.3 kilometers, the 2 forward guns out, and yeah. 2 hits. Apparently one of them didn't do any damage whatsoever. The other one's an overpen. Fatal Donuts gets the kill with his secondaries, and now I'm looking for another shot here on the enemy York. Going to go through the narrows here in between the islands. Scores 518 to 547. The enemy team has captured Objective B. They're still in control of Alpha. We're in control of only Objective Charlie. And all of a sudden, off to my port side, 2 kilometers away, there's an enemy Mitsuki. So I'm going to quickly launch my port side torpedoes. Luckily for me, I was close enough to the island where I didn't have to worry about taking any of those torpedoes. Will I be able to get the kill on the Mitsuki? It appears he got his engine knocked out. He uses repair. I'm looking for the kill, and he's able to just get out of the way in time. Now looking for a shot here with the forward guns on the enemy Miyoko, except before I'm able to do so, he's going to get hit pretty hard from the Colorado behind me. There we go. Now me and Donuts are in Objective Bravo. The score is 609 to 483. The enemy team only has 6 ships left. There's an enemy Scharnhorst off to my port side. There's also another Scharnhorst as well, and a Congo. Now, right here, this is the reason why people enjoy German battleships and the fact that they're able to get torpedoes. So all those enemy battleships are certainly going to try and push into Bravo. It's only a matter of time until they do so because, of course, they got to get in here and reset the cap and try and kill us. Shots on the Cleveland are just a bit high, but you're going to see here, and this is the part of the replay that I really want you guys to pay attention to, is just the use of torpedoes and how deadly these things can be. Now, I noticed after the fact that Mitsuki was trying to creep back in for another torpedo attack. However, during the game, I wasn't paying enough attention to it, and as I'm swinging to the port side, as me and Donuts get the assisted base capture, swinging to get some torpedoes out, looking to see what the enemy ships are doing. That Mitsuki is going to come flying around the corner here in just a matter of seconds. There he is. I just happened to notice him. He's at 4 kilometers away, and I'm looking to get my full broadside out, which I do. 4 kilometers, 6 guns, right? Yeah, I only hit 3. And that Mitsuki is going to be able to get away, and he still has more than 1,000 of his hit points left. So now I got to turn back to starboard and try and dodge his torpedoes, which are likely incoming. I do manage to get 1 hit with the secondaries. His torpedoes are incoming. I managed to get a 2nd hit. He's on 265 health. Will I be able to snag the kill? Unfortunately, not so much. The secondaries are not able to finish the job as he goes out of my detection. Looking for shots here on the Congo. Full broadside out. Shells flying in. Let's see what happens here. And, okay, about 6,000, just over 6,000 damage. Not too bad. So now I'm swinging myself around. Now, this is exactly what I'm speaking of. Now, the Scharnhorst is up there, the guy in the front, Disguise 117. This guy is going to have absolutely no excuse for running into the trap that I set. So I was originally thinking to myself, you know what? I'm just going to go flying in there. I'm going to launch my starboard and my port side torpedoes and just try to do enough damage. Maybe ram an enemy ship. Who knows? Let's see what we can do. But I decided to do against that. And if you look at the minimap here, you can see that those battleships are going to try and push the narrows. So I get my port side torpedoes ready. I go with the narrow spread, and I launch it into the little channel there. Now, basically, at this point, I thought to myself, okay, got my port side torps out, and now I'm going to try to swing around and get my starboard side torps. Now, I do have to worry because there are 2 Scharnhorsts, so they can definitely double dip, with their torpedo armament here. However, luckily for me, this guy right in front of me was not paying any attention whatsoever, and he turns broadside on to me, get a nice solid 8,800 damaging salvo, and as he tries to turn back to his port side, I managed to land 2 nice solid torpedo hits into him. 2nd ship destroyed in the game, 1,000 points of damage, and I've obviously long since captured Objective Bravo. Now, luckily for me, I decided to change up my game plan here. Because that Scharnhorst is now trying to get torpedoes, I'm going to continue to sail in towards the island so that he has to come out a lot farther to be able to use his torpedoes and get a good salvo at me. The first Scharnhorst dropped his and wasn't able to do anything. I get my guns going on the enemy Congo, and as you can see here, those torpedoes never had a chance to hit me because I decided to sail straight into the island instead of trying to chase those guys down, and I completely negated any advantage that he may have had with that torpedo salvo. Now, I'm still looking here for another shot at the enemy Scharnhorst, but then I noticed that it appears that the Congo is going to continue to push the narrows for some reason. I decided not to launch on the enemy Scharnhorst, and I'm now going to be switching my torpedoes over to the Congo, and this guy just has absolutely no excuse whatsoever for taking these torpedoes, if he does. I mean, he just watched his buddy get absolutely destroyed by torpedoes from my starboard or from my port side launcher. Get my rear gun into action on the enemy Scharnhorst, and then I quickly do an about face, and now I launch my starboard side torpedoes, excuse me. And somehow his guns were not trained towards me whatsoever, and he's going to die from torpedoes. I mean, there's literally no excuse for him to have had that happen, but hey, do your own thing, man. Maybe he's never played against Tier 7 before. I have no idea, but right there, get a little cocky in chat. I don't usually do that, but hey, I don't even know what to say about that. That was just embarrassing, honestly. And you can see how you can make advantage of these torpedoes, take advantage, I should say, and just deal good, solid damage and kill ships with them if they're not paying attention like that. And, I mean, I don't even know what to say. There's really nothing else I can say about that. Do over 6,000 damage on that salvo against the enemy Scharnhorst. We have the game certainly secured, 905 to 553. The enemy team is capturing Objective Charlie. It's probably the Mitsuki, but also the Scharnhorst is just moved into the cap as well. But the game will certainly be over here within about a minute or so. And yeah, you can see how if you're getting close range and you're able to utilize both sides of torpedoes, you can just create a death trap for any enemy ship that tries to push you. And clearly the Congo and the Scharnhorst were just the lights were on, but apparently nobody was home. I get 2 cap resets there with a high explosive salvo on the Scharnhorst, just trying to keep it from continuing to fall into enemy hands. Got about 7 seconds left on the reload. 118,000 points of damage. 1 Citadel, 2 assisted base caps, 53 shell hits, 3 ships destroyed, 4 torpedo hits, 2 base defense caps, 3 planes shot down, and 16 secondaries. So a little bit of everything in this ship. Managed to set the Scharnhorst on fire, do just over 900 points of damage. 120,000 so far for me. My buddy Donuts decided to come back. He was doing quite a bit of work over there behind me. And the enemy Mitsuki appears 8.1 kilometers. It appears that he lagged out or something. And he donks the shot. So I'm going to try and steal the kill here. Let's see if RNG gives me some. There we go. Take out the enemy Mitsuki. And that is going to be the end of a very, very solid game here on New Dawn in the Gneisenau. Taking a look now at the post-battle results, just over 300,000 credits received, 6,400 total XP earned, 120,000 points of damage, 55 target hits, 4 torpedoes, 3 planes shot down, 4 ships destroyed, 1 Citadel, 2 base defenses, 2 assisted captures, and 16 secondary hits. Taking a look at the team score, very solid showing for myself and Donuts. I had 2,161 base XP, he had 2,124. We accounted for 9 enemy planes and 7 of the enemy's 10 ships destroyed. So right there you saw the Gneisenau. It's in its own when it's in close quarters combat, utilizing the armor, tanking damage, using its torpedoes and secondaries to good effect, and being able to get good shots at point-blank range where the RNG and the accuracy really doesn't mean that much. But even so, you saw that that enemy Mitsuki got really, really lucky when he came around the corner, and he had just over 4,000 health, and I was not able to kill him. So I hope you guys enjoyed the replay. Again, pardon me for having to be gone for a couple months, but it's life, got to deal with it. So in the meantime, please enjoy the channel with Spider and Puin. They'll be putting out great content, and I will see you guys around Thanksgiving. Thank you very much for the support that you've given us to the channel, and I'll be looking forward to coming back. Thank you guys. The Sneaky Snake here for BIA, World of Warships, signing off.